in the preacher's daughter or something. The preacher,
Right.
one of her, all the words in there fit so eloquently. And so, and during this journey, it's been so. I found that we really live in a country with good people, and I know the world has good people. You know, sometimes they just need to know that there's trivial things that we get caught up with, and then there's important things that we can do, and you're doing that, you know, and this is what keeps me going when I meet people like you.
Well, I have to say, I know many people ask me, why would I want to do this? You know, one person asked me, what do I get out of this? Nothing. What do I lose from it, you mean, is a more appropriate question. But what I get out of this really is to see a child's life being saved. And my concern, because I've worked in a unit where it's kidney failures, and there's been kidney transplant. My question to you, what is the success rate of the liver lasting or taking right away? Because I know sometimes people get a kidney transplant, they don't last, and you know, within a couple of days it will fail, or something goes wrong, and a couple of months and it will fail. What is the success rate in the liver transplant?
From my understanding, Clairmont, and you know, I'm not a medical profession,
Right,
is that it's been pretty much 100% success in the live liver donors. I remember the first one that was done in Toronto, which, by the way, Toronto has one of the best professional liver transplant, live liver transplant teams in the world. It was done in 2000, and I actually met the son and the mother. The son donated the liver to the mother, and this was back in 2000. Since then, I can't tell you the number, but there's been quite a number of transplants that have been done successfully. So you know, this is through the miracles, the marvels of science. And when I'm talking about this, I'm thinking of something that the Apostle Paul said: "Be imitators of God." We didn't know that this kind of occasion might have arise. But you know, again, a lot of people don't know about this, Clairmont. Like, a lot of people, there's thousands of kids, you know, in Canada and around the world, that right now their family are around their bedside, praying that they can stay alive one more day, just to see if there's hope that something, you know, a transplant can be done for them.
Like, you know, as I said, my concern is basically after this is done, that this little child, Jada, you know, that it takes well, it works well, and she can live to be a healthy young woman, have children, have family, the whole works. Now, is there a lifespan for liver transplant? Like, how did they give you, like, say, it will last 5 years, will last like 10 years, will last forever? Is there a lifespan?
Well, the live liver donors is still relatively new, so it's been maybe in the last 8 years. So far there's been success. I mean, the recipient that receives the liver is going to be on anti-rejection medication, which, you know, you take a couple of pills in the morning, take a couple of pills at night. That's about the extent of what needs to be done for the recipient. From what I've seen, and I've met a lot of live liver donors, they've gone back to work in a couple of months, full work, you know, and they have led healthy and productive lives. You know, I have not heard anything of consequence, I guess is the best word. You know, God gave us a gift, you know, gave our medical, our doctors, you know, a gift to do this, you know, and so and you're right. There's the live kidney transplant is not as I guess successful as the and I can't give you the medical reasons why, but
no, what I really want to know, like, after the recipient, how long does the recipient have in terms of the the liver lasting, how long? Because sometimes they say, well, it can last you 2-3 years, it may last you, lifetime. How long for the recipient would this last for them?
Well, they have studies for the last 8 years, but with cadaveric livers, they've had a much longer period of time. They're saying that there's about, as far as longevity, for babies, there has been probably a 90% success rate for cadaveric livers among children that had not needed another liver after receiving the first one. If there was any problems, it wasn't a result of the transplant or the so the statistics are very high, both for more higher for live liver donors and cadaveric donors, which have been studied for the last 25 years. But it's been in the last decade that our medicines have gotten even that much better, our anti-rejection drugs, and anytime there's been any relapse on the transplant, on the recipient, care is offered a lot more better than it used to be. Like, I remember when I got my transplant in '95, the things that they can do now is 10 times better. Like, they could have corrected a lot more things even back in that 10%, So, I mean, our medical marvels are just getting that much better every day. There's something coming out every day to correct something that's going, and it's just getting better and better. So I would say that the recipient would have a long life ahead of them if they received a live liver transplant.
And now, I know you've received a liver transplant twice. If you can tell us, what was the cause of the failure of the first one?
Yeah, I really don't mind talking about that, because I think there's a lesson, and there's things that you just have to talk about sometimes. It was probably a result of I had, growing up as a teenager, my role models weren't the right role models. And because of that, I got involved in gangs and that kind of stuff, and drugs. And it was probably a result of using drugs that I needed a liver transplant 25 years later. As you mentioned in the intro, it was actually in 1986 that God showed me a path to leave that lifestyle behind. And that's where it actually was my day that I left the lifestyle behind and the drugs, So it was actually going into my 7th year of this new life that I found out that, I had a liver problem. And so because I found this new peace, I wasn't saying, why me, God? I was blessing God for giving me these 7 years that made my family happy, that made, and that's the kind of attitude you get, because you're no longer in that blaming and that, and so I was ready. I was very happy with that. I had 7 good years to make my family happy and make, and I was ready. I was ready to meet my Maker. But He had other plans for me, so.
He sure did have a
I'm always willing to talk about this, but we live in a judgmental society as well.
Right.
And the work that I have done would have probably not gotten the same recognition if everybody knew. I can't be for sure on this one, but through my experiences, like when something has to get revealed, it'll get revealed, but I have never, if anybody ever asked me about my past, I've always answered honestly. I just never put it up at the forefront, because I think God gave me a mission, not to tackle that lifestyle, to shed light on, or to bring help to substance abuse users, but to bring awareness to organ donation.